Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Tormin the Cold, so let's get into it. Alrighty, let's go ahead and fire up the index and go down to Dwarves, and Tormin is the Void Affinity Dwarf Legendary Defense Champion right here. Now, I've been wanting to do a champion guide on Tormin for a while. He is a very important character to get content out there about and cover as a champion because he's very meta altering, and but he's been kind of getting changed and balanced, and then one of his abilities wasn't working right for a little bit, so there was always kind of something that I wanted to wait for in terms of producing this guide. But now I think is the time, and he's kind of been out long enough to be adjusted enough times, and now the ability that wasn't functioning right is supposed to be working properly. So now is the time to get this guide out there. And remember, as always, for my champion guides, I will have a pinned comment below where you can pull up the infographic on the champion, and this will show the masteries that I use on the champion you're seeing in the video. But remember, do not blindly copy masteries. You want to build them yourself and just use that as a starting point template. But this shows that it takes 11 books to max him out up there in the top left. The grades for his dungeons, the fact that he has a defense aura up on the top right, the optimal gear sets, and all of that sort of stuff. So let's put that away and dive into the kit here. All right, so first of all, if we look at the base stats, Tormin has very good base stats. Over 20,000 base HP for a defense scaling champion is very good. The defense of 1421 base is also very good. The speed of 94 is a bit low, but that's okay because we can get good utility out of him really no matter what his speed is. There's all sorts of different styles you can play with Tormin. So the base speed of 94 is definitely low, but it's not a huge problem on him. And then the crit rate and the crit damage are pretty par for the course at 15 and 50. Base resist of 70 and base accuracy of 20. That's very good for base stats of accuracy and resistance. So he's going to be very sturdy, and getting the 20 base accuracy makes it a little bit easier to get him up in the high numbers of accuracy, because a lot of champions will see start at 0 or something. So him getting the base is very good, and 70 resistance is huge for base resistance. And with Tormin, the kit has a lot going on. It's very wordy, so bear with me. I'll try to do my best to kind of walk you through the kit and how it works. So we've got an A1 that is AoE. We love those. That's great. With a 15% chance of placing a freeze for 1 turn. You can book that up to a 25% chance if you hit the 2 books on it. Instantly activates this skill whenever an enemy under both a freeze and an HP burn debuff takes damage from the HP burn debuff. So if you pair this guy with somebody like an Ignatius, somebody who does AoE HP burn, once those ticks start happening, Tormin's going to start slamming these A1s and rocking those AoEs constantly, placing more and more freezes, and really snowballs very effectively with AoE HP burn champions. Then for the A2, we've got remove all buffs from a target enemy, then attack the target 2 times, steals all buffs instead if the target is under a freeze debuff. So obviously that's very good. It works with his kit. It works with the freeze theme. Will ignore defense if the target is under both a freeze and an HP burn. So again, another ability that synergizes with champions that are going to help him by placing HP burn. Tormin does not place any HP burns, so it's designed to kind of be a concept of a team built around freezing and HP burning. Then for the A3, we've got another AoE, places a block buffs debuff and a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns on enemies under a freeze debuff. So if you have somebody go before Tormin, now this is the ability that he will prioritize on auto. So if you start a fight and your team goes, this Blizzard Rage A3 is what Tormin is going to prioritize with his AI. So if you've got a Shiramani or somebody that places freeze before Tormin, and then Tormin goes, you're going to have a good chance of placing the block buffs and the heal reduction as long as he has good accuracy. Or you can have Tormin go early in the rotation, and with books, he's got an 80% chance of placing a provoke on an AoE. So there's different styles you can choose to kind of go with in terms of pairing him with freezers that go before him, pairing him with HP burn champions. There's lots of different ways to slot Tormin into successful teams. Also decreases the cooldown of 1 random skill of each ally by 1 turn for every enemy attacked under both freeze and HP burn. So again, synergizing very well with those AoE HP burn champions. And then the passive. All right, deep breath. There's a lot going on here. So we've got the passive effect, a 15% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the enemy each time they receive a buff or have their turn meter filled. So Tormin, his niche in the game was designed to be a counter to the speed meta, to give players an option and not have to go speed. So what was happening was the general theme of the arena a lot of times was whichever team goes first, they win. So it's all about whoever has the better speed meter booster, they go first, they have the higher speed, GG, they win. So Tormin is designed to help throw a wrench in the meta, to shake things up, to make defense teams a little bit more viable and give some solid options in terms of an effect that you have to defend yourself against a team that has faster speed than your team. Now, worth noting that the 15% chance applies for each effect individually in cases where an enemy receives multiple of these effects at the same time. Does not work with effects from artifact sets, turn meter filling, masteries, healing, or those buffs or effects that take place at the start of a round. So it like at the start of an arena fight, if somebody has a shield set or something, they're not going to get frozen from that. So that is something that I believe was implemented a little bit after he was released. They made the freezes not proc off of shield sets and masteries and stuff like that. So it's just going to be from the actual abilities that the enemies are casting when they buff and turn meter boost their allies and themselves. And then we also have an active effect, revives this champion to 100% HP when killed and places a freeze debuff on this champion for 1 turn. So what happens is when Tormin dies, he revives himself, but he's frozen. So he basically has that wasted turn where he just sits there frozen. But he does revive himself, and it makes him very sturdy in a fight and hard to actually officially eliminate. And also, books are very impactful on Tormin. Obviously, you can see the passive effect. You can take that from 15% to 25% with these books. Then you can even go with something like the Fearsome Presence Mastery to bump it up another 5 and get it to 30%. So with books and masteries, you can double the percent chance to proc, which is extremely impactful because this passive can decide battles. Like, you need that percentage to be as high as possible to make it as reliable as possible. You can get those clutch freezes at the start of a match as a passive effect, and then he goes ahead and slams the provokes and the block buffs and everything, and it can be very suppressive to the opponents. And worth noting that Tormin also has an ally defense in all battles by 33%. This is an incredible aura. Typically speed, defense, and HP auras are the best in the game. There are some times where accuracy and resistance can be very good auras as well, but this is also all battles. So faction wars, dungeons, it's not just arena. So definitely a really good aura on Tormin. But now let's go ahead and pull up the Tormin that I've got built, and we'll walk through the booking process, the gearing process, the masteries, and all of that good stuff. So here's the Tormin that I use on my account for the arena, and you'll see that I've got him in stun plus speed. Now, I went with stun because he's a suppression champion, so I want him to be as suppressive as possible. I love the stun set with Fearsome Presence, and then on top of that, I get all of the freezes and CCing that Tormin's going to do, and I pair him with an HP burn champion in Ignatius, so I can really get him popping off with that AoE A1 and placing more and more stuns. So I love him in stun plus Fearsome Presence. Here's the masteries, and remember, down in the video description, you can pull those up if you ever want to see the masteries that I am currently using on my Tormin. So let's dive in to the actual gear itself here. Now, on the banner, you're gonna want to go accuracy. It's a really important aspect of his kit to make sure he gets really high accuracy. You don't want those freezes getting resisted. It's very important to get him in high accuracy. If I pull up the total stats, you'll see here that I've got almost 350 accuracy, which is very viable up in gold 4. If you're going to be working up towards platinum, you want to get like 400 something, 500 accuracy, just to make sure it's going to go ahead and proc. And then you can see I've got the 42,000 HP, the 4,800 defense, 216 speed, and that kind of gives you an idea of how I've built my Tormin to go ahead and wreck through gold 4. So yeah, accuracy on the banner is very good. On the amulet, I would think going defense is the right route to go. I mean, you could build him as a damage dealer, but I don't think that's the better route to go. I think it's better to build him super tanky and super suppressive. So I went with the defense amulet. If you've got like an HP amulet that rolled triple accuracy or something, that's totally viable too. It's all about getting the best blend of toughness and accuracy on the amulet. The ring, again, you're going to want the best blend of defense and HP that you can get on him. The boots, You could make the argument to go like sturdy boots, defense percent or HP percent or something like that, especially if you got like a double or triple speed roll as a substat or like an accuracy roll to boot. But I really like to have good speed in Faction Wars and the arena and all that, so I did go with speed boots on him. The chest, defense percent is usually going to be what you're going with, and the gloves, again, defense percent, because I don't really want to build him as a damage dealer. I want him to be extremely sturdy and suppressive. And then the top ones are pretty self-explanatory. You're going to be going for your best blend of defense, speed, accuracy, and all that good stuff. And this is actually a really cool weapon to have on him, because you can see I've got the triple accuracy roll, bumps me up to 50 accuracy from my weapon, and then I've got the speed roll as well. And we actually can't get defense on a weapon. Weapons can't roll defense, shields can't roll attack. So getting HP is the best you're gonna do in terms of toughness. So I've got the speed, the accuracy, and the HP, and that's a very cool weapon, bumping me up 50 accuracy there on one slot. And then in terms of the booking process, Tormin's very good. He's a very good champion to have maxed out and developed on your account, especially now with 3v3 Arena. There's almost always a situation where you're going to want a defensive team, a team that kind of goes second and is built to do so. You can't go wrong spending books on Tormin. You're not going to regret it. You'll use him in Faction Wars, and you'll definitely get value out of him in the arena playing different styles, especially now that 3v3 is out. So if you've got the books, spend them on Tormin. And honestly, the books are really impactful on almost all of these abilities. They're probably least impactful on the A2 because you're only getting damage and a cooldown here. But I mean, even the cooldown helps if you can lower this to remove buffs more reliably and all that stuff. But you get buff chance on the A1, you get buff chance on the A3, you get cooldown and buff chance on the passive. So books are very impactful on him, and they will be worth it because you will get utility out of a Tormin that you build. So yeah, on Tormin, don't feel bad about spending the books. If you've got them, go ahead and get him developed and get him maxed out if you can. And now I'll show you an arena fight and the thought process behind how I use my Tormin. Now, okay, Sir Nick is gonna be making my team a lot more sturdy. We're gonna be bumping up a lot of HP, and he can also place a bunch of shield and crank out the damage. Hawkhorn Smash Lord is gonna help me in terms of cleansing what their Tormin does to me and being able to place a block debuffs so that I don't get frozen constantly from their Tormin. And then my Tormin and my Ignatius. Ignatius is an AoE HP burn champion, so he's going to synergize very well with my Tormin and hopefully get him popping off. And then hopefully we've got enough sustain by having a nice blend of defense and HP to go ahead and sustain the Rotos, which is going to be the main source of their damage. I could also make the case to go defense here instead of HP, but with the Rotos probably ignoring some defense, I want to get as much HP as possible here. So that's what we're going to do in terms of winning this fight. And we'll see if we can kind of walk through how this would work. Okay, so they went first, obviously, because they're a speed team. You can see the freezes going off so that we were able to suppress them a little bit. There's another freeze in the Rotos because of the Arbiter. And now you can see here, I can place the block debuffs, and now their Torment did not place any sort of suppression on my team. Now we can get the AoE HP burn from the Ignatius. There's the shielding and the damage from my Sir Nicholas, and my Torment would have died there and had to revive himself if it wasn't for that shield from the Sir Nick. And he still goes ahead and lives. And there's the stun placed from the Torment because of the stun set. And then their Torment's gonna go ahead and revive himself, and there you see that freeze effect when he revives himself. And then it's just about kind of slowly burning him down. Ignatius also places provokes. We get lots of debuffs, stuns coming in, freezes, and Sir Nick is kind of my main source of damage on a team like that, and he goes ahead and bursts it down. So now let's go ahead and pull up the grading system, and we will rate Tormin in the different areas of the game. Alrighty, arena offense, I'm going to give him a 5 on both arena offense and defense. He fills a very cool role in the game and definitely a good champion to have at your disposal. Campaign, he could be decent for 3-starring content and helping you clear certain stages of Nightmare, but he's not really going to be a great XP farmer. I'll give him like a 4. Spider's Den, I mean, you could probably do some interesting things with him in terms of suppressing the spiderlings and stuff. I'll give him a 3. He's not really like a spider champion. You're not gonna, the one area of the game he's not really very useful in is the clan boss, so I'm gonna give him a 1 there. Dragon's Lair, he's fine. You know, he'll help you with the waves, but he's not great on the boss, so we'll go there. Minotaur, kind of same thing. He's all right. He's serviceable in terms of progressing. And the Magic Keep, I mean, again, for these keeps, he's going to be serviceable, so we'll give him a 4. And then Ice Golem, sure, we'll give him a 4 there. Fire Knight, he's not really designed to do super well in the Fire Knight, but he's decent for the waves in terms of getting you there, so we'll go with a 3, but I mean, you can make the case for a 2 as well. Spirit Keep, again, we're mostly just going to be giving him a 4 on the keeps because he can be very suppressive for the waves and stuff, but he's not going to be great at like speed farming them or anything or bringing any sort of special utility. Faction Wars, he's great. He can really help you in terms of progressing your Dwarf Faction Wars team, so we'll give him a 5 there as well. Now let's submit those and kind of wrap things up here. So yeah, remember down in a pinned comment and all that good stuff, I will have the Tormin infographic if you want to be able to pull that up and take a look at it. But yeah, if you've got a Tormin, definitely 6-star him, get him as maxed out as you can, and start using him in 3v3 arena. And you could even do some cool things in the classic arena. I know there's a lot of teams doing the speed meta, but you definitely want a good defense team at your disposal. So I would definitely work on your Tormin and start kind of slotting him in and working different styles to take advantage of his kit. So let me know what you think about Tormin down in the comments. I always enjoy reading what you guys say. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.